Right, so this time we'll see how to use Apple account to sign in. But before that, actually, you have to do a lot of steps before you go ahead and do that. Okay, now first you have to have an Apple developer account. If you don't have one, you have to create one. Okay, and that's also a bit annoying part, but that requires a lot of verification, this and that. I'm not going to cover that one. So first make sure you have an account, and after that you log into the account using developer.apple.com. Then you'll find there's a section where it says certificates actually, and then you have to click on the certificates, and then it will take you to the page that I was. Now my page is in Chinese. I'm going to translate it to English so that we know what's happening. All right. Okay, so that was my landing page, but your landing page could be a bit different. It doesn't matter wherever you are, then you just come here, click on the certificate, things like that. And then we're gonna create a new certificate. The step for working with any kind of Apple app on real device, you have to create certificate, identifier profiles, things like that. So that's what we need to do. So let's go ahead and set it up. Now over here, I'll select Apple development, and then I'll continue. And then over here, it says that you choose a file for signing request, things like that. Now this is called CSR file. Now we have to actually generate one. If you're on MacBook, so over here, actually you can look for keychain. Let's see. Keychain access, so this one actually. So now we are over here, and make sure that you open it, and after that over here at the top, actually you have to select services like this. So at the top you will have a keychain access tab, and then you have to select certificate assistant, and then you have to select this one. Let's see, request a certificate from certificate authority, so like this. So go ahead and select this one, and then over here you have to type in an email. It could be actually any email, it doesn't really matter. And then over here you just select save to desktop, and you should be good to go. So it would be saved in desktop. But now I'm not going to save it in desktop directly, so we are working on this chat app, and yeah, in this section in chat app, this is the folder where I'm going to save it because I need to use it later. All right, so that's done, and once that is done, we're gonna open it over here, download it. So all I need to do right now, double click on it. All right, yes, and here I'll go ahead with continue. All right, so after that, actually we can come over here and choose the file, and so we need to go to chat app, the place where we have saved it. So we're gonna select it and open it, and then we're gonna continue. All right, and after that it would want you to download it, so I just downloaded it. So that's the first part. That we need to click on this identifier section, and we are going to create a new identifier over here, and we are going to register with Apple app IDs, and then we are going to select app over here, and then over here we'll select this as a chatting app based on Firebase. All right, and over here we have to select our bundle ID. So here I would do the best tech dot Firebase chat. Now of course this was not our bundle ID, and I'm going to explain to that. Previously it was example, and after that over here actually we need to select two things. We have to select them anyway. So first we'll find our push notification, this section, because we need that one, and then as well as sign in with Apple. Okay. Now, if we don't use like this part is not unique. It has to be unique for a lot of, I mean, everyone. Now, if you use example.com, now by saying that, that means a lot of people might use this kind of thing. So it has to be unique. Actually, only one person's app can use this one. So most probably this one someone already has used. So we can't use this one. Now in your case, you might have to use a different identifier over here. This could stay the same. It could be your domain name because each domain is unique, right? And then of course, if you want, this could also be different. So that's the point. If I don't do this, if I directly put com.example.firebase, we'll get error. So we'll continue with this, and I think the things we needed to do, push notification, sign in with Apple, we already did that, and then we'll try to register it and we'll see how it goes. And it looks like we have registered it, okay, because we don't have any error. And yes, over here we do see this one. All right, now with this, it brings us to another problem. Now if we were here like this app over here, so now over here we need to make changes as well. So we'll open our any kind of iOS file, and it already opened. Now in general, if you come under this tab, so runner tab over here, sorry, this runner tab, and then you'll see this identifier. Now by saying that, it also means that we need to change this one. So I'm gonna click back actually. So let's see. Okay. So it was general, and then you're gonna click on this, and after that you just want to change this name over here. So just like we did, so over here instead of example, I'm gonna put the best tag. So you're gonna put anything you like, and that's okay. So just to make sure that it's unique, that's all we need. If it's not unique, it's not gonna work. Okay. All right, so with this we are done with this setup so far. Now you need to go back to your app store settings over here actually, so which is appstoreconnect.apple.com, like that. So yeah, you need to come over here and click on this my apps, and let's see. Okay, so we don't have any app right now over here, so we can create one. So I mean our own app, the one that we want to register. So here we'll click for new app, and let's see. So we already see that this one over here, the one that we registered. Now if you skip this step over here, creating certificates and identifiers, it's just not gonna work. Okay, so first step is creating a developer account, and do this 2 steps at least, and then over here, and you can name it Firebase chat, or actually our app's name is Let's Chat, and primary language is, I would say, English, and the school Firebase chatting, and user access, I would say, well, if it doesn't allow, then we could do just like this, and we could just select full access for now, and platform is iOS for now, and then we'll go ahead and create the app. All right, well, no, it says that it's already being used, so yeah, we can just let's chat, okay, or any kind of name, it's fine. So now let's go ahead and select this. Well, because someone else already used this name, so you have to be very unique. All right, so with this, our app is ready over here. Okay, so that's what we have now, and actually there are more steps to do. Now you need to go back to your Xcode over here, and you need to click on this capability section, this one over here under this runner tab. So here we're gonna select sign in, So you have to double click on it. So it will try to update it over here, as you can see. And because in future we also want to do push notification, so we also have to double click this, and then it gets selected over here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now let's see, we for app release and profiling everywhere. So that was done with the Xcode setup and the Apple Store setup. Now there is another setup that we need to do. We need to come to our Firebase console. This was our app, and if it was, then we need to come to this authentication, and we have to also make changes this sign-in method. So we want to add a new provider over here, and this time we want to choose Apple, and we're gonna click enable, and I guess it says not required for Apple. So this is what we see. Now after that, actually we need to go ahead and install the plugin. So here we would step back one more time. I mean, I'm in iOS folder, and I would do clear, and over here we would do Flutter pub add sign in with Apple. I guess this is the package name, and hopefully it will download the latest one. Yes, so that's done. And after that, actually we'll focus on the coding part. So before that, let me close all of this. The time we go ahead and work with our Apple account and Apple login, and that is getting more and more interesting as we are working on this. So right now, what I could do, like let's come over here, one of the things that we did early. So over here we also need to check if this an Apple login or not. So because previously we checked this with Google, right? So now we have to create a little more or do more conditional check. So over here I would do else if. So here we would do the type, whether the type is Facebook or not. Now if it is so, then I'm going to copy this, and then we're going to create a new conditional check. So here we do, well, we can just do else for now. So if it's none of them, it has to be Apple, because we only have 3 options so far, right? So now let's go ahead and put everything there. Now a lot of the things that we have done over here, we can actually reuse them. All right, so this sign-in controller needs some refactoring, and we'll do that once we are done with this Apple login, right? Okay, so over here I'm going to copy, well, I don't think we need to copy this. So over here let's go ahead and because it's a very small method, so here once again we'll have user credentials that would be returned from Apple API. So I'm just gonna write it like this, user credential, and then here we'd say sign in with Apple, and it has to be async operation. All right, so that's how it works. Sign in with Apple. Now over here, of course, we have error because we are not returning anything. Okay, so here we do Apple, say provider, and then here we would do Apple auth provider, and that's it. Now if, well, it looks like it's got imported automatically, so Firebase auth where it also does with Apple auth, so it got imported automatically. Now over here we have to do return await. Let's see, return await, and over here we do Firebase auth dot instance. Let's see if we can get instance. Yes, and then over here sign in with provider actually. So this time instead So we're gonna choose this one. Like other time we did sign in with the credential, but this time with Apple it's a bit different, so it has to be Apple provider like that. Okay, so let's work on this. So now we are getting Apple auth provider from Firebase, and we are sending the same one to this Firebase using sign in with provider, which is a bit different than sign in with the credential. Now at the same time, if you take a look at Google, this is also sign in with the credential. So with Google and Facebook, it is sign in with credential, but with Apple it's sign in with provider. So this is what you need to remember. Now, so far we also see that Apple didn't provide any kind of auth system like Facebook auth or Google auth we have. Well, for Google, I don't think it is called Google auth. It's called Google auth provider. So pretty much the same. All right. So now, so that's part pretty much done. Now over here, so instead of calling this one, so I'm going to copy this name over here and then just simply put it here. Okay, so that's for Apple. Now for Apple, for now, we're gonna make some changes. Now, so far I've learned that Apple doesn't really provide any kind of default information, but since we are following the same pattern, so here we could do Apple user, okay? So the name is Apple user, it could be anything, but in future we'll change it, okay? Now over here, apple@email.com. So these are some of the things that we need to keep same, and some of the things that we are giving default value over here. Now this time over here, we do have user, as you can see, auth, so auth user. Now over here, the user ID stays the same, all right? So it doesn't matter. I mean UID, which is different from Google, but which is same as with Facebook. So that part should be same. And over here, login, the type should be Apple. Okay, all right. So other things we don't need to change at all. Actually, they should be the same. Now we need to find our view over here. So let's go ahead and find the view. What kind of view we're looking? I think that is sign in view. So let's go ahead and find it. So if you're on Mac, just if you do Command E, it would show you all the files that you have changed recently or used, and you can choose among one of them that you need. All right, so this is our view. So let's go to the view, and now right after this, actually we could create a new one with this. So padding, right? This is the padding, and we'll copy this, and then over here we're gonna just simply put it, and over here we would say Apple, and then over here we would say Apple login. Okay, all right. Now I'm going to log out from this, and okay, now we do see that we have a bit of issues over here. One more time. Okay, so we can definitely work on this. So let's see. So that's the third-party login. Let's find where it's causing this. So we don't have any issues over here though. So now in the margin section, we do have a bit of issues. So let's go ahead and change it to 200. We don't need that much at the bottom. So this bit, it doesn't really matter. You can change it as per your need. Okay, great. All right, so now this is what we have, and let's see if we click on this, how it works. Okay, so sign in with your Apple ID. You need to sign in with your Apple ID. So it's asking us to go ahead and sign in over here. Now I'm going to sign in using my Apple ID. So here I do job. So that's my Apple ID. Okay, so now as you can see, it's asking me to allow from my real device, which I would do, and over here I would type in the passcode that Apple sent me. All right, so now it's trying to log in and see. We do have a bit of issues over here. Well, over here I'd say don't merge. All right, so that is first I have logged in the device itself. Now if I go to Firebase chat, let's see. Well, we definitely see there is an issue over here. So not now. Let's try it one more time and we'll see if we can continue or not. And over here it's asking me to type in password one more time for signing in, and let's see if we can sign in or not. Now here doesn't match. Okay, so we do have this invalid credential problem because we have changed it somewhere else. Remember earlier? So we need to change it in our, well, we have this error. The reason is because even though we changed in the app itself, but if you come to our Firebase console and if you go to project overview, general, and over here you see that we have this iOS settings, right? Okay, now the problem is we can't really change this now. It's just impossible once the app is configured. So the only way to do this is first you go ahead and remove this app, okay, and that's it. Okay, so we have to create a new one. So right now I just have Firebase chat for Android. So we'd come to our terminal one more time over here, and then I'll do a clean over here. And this time I'll do flutter fire configure. Okay, now one thing we could do first, make sure that we have less errors. So just go ahead and remove this one. Android would stay the same. So let's wait for it to be removed. Okay. Okay, I'll select refractor and most probably it'd be gone. Okay, now I'll come over here and I'll hit this one more time, and it would ask us to choose the project. Now we already have our project, so we'll select it one more time. I think our project name was Firebase chat. Okay, well, now here I can just hit enter. It doesn't really matter. It might overlap with some of the other places. Okay, now as you see that for iOS it got a different name, but for Android it is keeping the original name. So it would just replace for Android the old one with the new one, which means it's not a problem. And for iOS we'll have a completely new one, and over here I'll hit enter. All right, and over here it did say that Firebase exists. Do you want to override it? And then I would say yes, and then we are good. All right, so with this hopefully we should be good. Now let's rerun our app. Let's stop the okay, restart our app. I think that should work. Okay, and if we go to the terminal, we shouldn't see any error. Now, right after this, we're gonna click on this Apple login and we'll see how it goes. Now, if we this time we see if we can continue with this. This is fun 20. So that's beautiful, awesome. So we are done with this Apple login, and we have successfully logged in with Apple account. And as you can see, well, And over here, actually that's me, that's the Apple user. And well, this is a default photo I guess they have. Now in future we'll see how to change and get real name from Apple server, but for now we'll stick to this. So yes, we have realized this 3 sections where you have login access, either Facebook, Google, or Apple, and that's just awesome. And you just learned how to do it. And with iOS, there are a lot of settings problem. With Facebook, there are a lot of settings problem as well. But with Google, it's the simplest one, I would say. Okay. All right. So we're gonna do Apple login one more time, and let's continue. And we'll hit over here. So this is just redoing over here. Now, one thing that I would like to tell you over here, okay, let's refresh our project and you'll see that we do have the latest one. Okay, let's refresh like this. So we'll see that our iOS app is over here as well. Okay, all right. Now in future, if you do encounter problem, you can also remove the Android and or iOS. You can also do them manually. So if you want to do it manually, like for example, you have to come over here, I guess, and then you have to choose, and then manually you need to create an app. So that's also works, and that's fine. I used to do it manually a lot of time, but I find Flutter Fire, it takes care of a lot of the things, and it's very fast and errorless. Okay, great. Well, in next section, I actually will see how to do some of the refactoring of this controller over here.